welcome to mine and River's 4-year anniversary video. I bought River on the 19th of the 2nd, 2017 from these two advert pictures and then Googled to find this singular racing photo, and well, what a journey we were in for. When we brought River home, we weren't really sure what to expect because his advert didn't really say much, but well, I didn't quite get the horse I was expecting. River came home as a 12-year-old, so we were expecting him to be pretty chill, and he was terrified of life, basically. He didn't like to be groomed, he didn't like to be tied up, he was terrified of being rugged, and yeah, it took us a while to build his trust and get him to accept that, I was his new mummy and that I was not going anywhere. But here we are 4 years later, and he seems happier. Although he wasn't quite settled straight away, he became quite affectionate within a couple of weeks. Here you can see him running around in the background with his best friend Charlie, who was my other horse at the time. These two were genuinely inseparable and we had lots of great fun together. Although, not long after he came home, he threw both shoes within 72 hours, and that was not the most fun day we've ever had. Here you can see how well these two just got on. They would share feed buckets, we took lots of selfies, and I'm really glad that I took all these pictures in the early days. We had lots of impromptu photo shoots using timer from my phone, and genuinely they're some of my favourite memories. We have videos that are irreplaceable, but those few photos taken, usually with just a normal camera phone, are ones that I'll never forget, and many of these are printed out on my wall to this day. In the early days, I had a friend lunge him for me because he was a very, very strong horse, and I'm not a very strong person. As you can see, River generally really enjoys being on the lunge, and although you'll see some clips of him being naughty later in this video, generally he's really quite good to lunge, especially in an open field, which we weren't really expecting given that he is an ex-race horse and that he did race, or as in he was even on the track sort of racehorse. So yeah, the fact that he lunges well in an open space and that he can be ridden in an open space is genuinely just one of my favourite things about him. We took a lot of selfies over the first few years, and I did try and film as much as I could using my little action camera. So, here I'm putting his fly rug on him, which to some people seems like absolutely nothing, but when we're having a bad day and I'm struggling to get his rug on him, it's really nice to look back and go, hey, we did it once, we'll do it again. Because that's our motto. We've done it once, we'll do it all over again. In-hand work is really important to me, so you'll see there's a lot of clips of me working with it in-hand, either that's over jumps or, well, these are just me giving him snuggles, but there's also clips of us working on walking forward, walking backwards, and then this here is the first time I ever sat on River. Completely unattended, completely on our own, and I never thought we'd get there, but with a few words of encouragement from my instructor via text message, I got on, and as you can see, we just sat and had a cuddle, and then I got off again. But genuinely, it's my favourite memory of us together. Then in the next clip, which is this one here, you will see this was the first time I got on him with someone else there, and he was thoroughly unimpressed about the idea of having to walk anywhere, which is funny because even now, all these years later, he still doesn't like to walk forward with someone on him. He likes to slowly meander sideways around the field. This is another few of my favourite pictures before this section here, which was possibly the worst of mine and River's life together. This is when we moved yards and he got very stressed out, he didn't enjoy it, and as you can see he began weaving. However, all of these behaviours disappeared literally the second he stepped off the box back at his old home, and he was back to his normal happy, cheeky self. He went back to trashing rugs because he likes barbed wire fencing, he went back to stealing treats off me, nuzzling up and working really, really well for me. Here's another clip of me riding him bareback up and down the field, but this is up and down the barn. This was a regular occurrence. We used to explore just in walk up and down pretty much every day that I could, and these are memories that I'll always treasure. Unfortunately, after a while, the yard we were at became financially inviable for us, and as much as you can see, he had so much fun here and he was always really cheeky. It came to the point where it was better for us to move whilst we could. So this is one of the last videos of River messing around with his best friend April, and it's a video that I really like because he's normally really good and would come in at the drop of a hat because he'd want his dinner, and this day he just ran around like an absolute loon. Didn't matter what I tried to convince him with. I think I had apples in my pocket or carrots and he was still zooming off. So I left him out, and yeah, it just makes me smile looking back on it. However, we moved yards not long after this, and the new yard wasn't great. It was just a field, but it was a lot closer to home, so it was perfect for what I needed whilst I was doing my A-levels. Because whilst I was sitting my exams, I didn't really have the time to be commuting back and forth. So this is River and Jack, his new field companion in this field, and yeah, although the field was quite boggy and the fencing wasn't perfect, we made do, and we had a lot of fun there, and we have a lot of amazing memories from being at this yard together. Jack was a very timid pony, much like Bee, who, as you all know, is my timid girl, who we have now, and him and River just got on really, really well. They really clicked. River is very much a nurturing character, and he loves other horses. This is the day my best friend came to lunch with her, and he was perfectly good for her to start with, and then she tried to ask him to canter again on this rein, and he said no. And it was very funny, because basically we'd been working on getting him lunging, well, I had been working on getting him lunging for a while, and then yeah, he threw that hissy fit that day and broke a nail, which was awkward, but her nail technician fixed it, so it was fine. As you can see, River would just follow me around the field, and he's just a dope on a rope. I genuinely could not ask for a better best friend in this horse. He doesn't look amazing in these clips, condition-wise, because it was February, end of January, middle of February, and it'd been not the best winter and the grass quality, which was awful. But he got there eventually with a lot of good feed. He also did a lot of lunge work, building up that top line again. But yeah, all in all, he was really happy and he really enjoyed being there. There's so many selfies and pictures of them in the sunset that I just adore, and yeah, 3/4 of these are on my wall, and I love looking back at them and seeing how much fun we got up to when we were together all day, every day. As in, I mean, you can see in some of these pictures I'd literally just got back from college, so I'm still wearing my college clothes, you know, Bardo tops and jeans, but we just had the best time. No matter what we were doing, it was always great fun. And then we moved to Scotland. This is some of the clips from the day we moved. It was a great journey in all honesty, and River settled really nicely straight into the field. As you can see, there'd not been horses on it in a while, so the grass was really, really long, which I think he was so happy about. But yeah, he led beautifully. He only escaped a few times in the first couple of days, which was surprising because I thought he'd jump the fence more because he is a good jumper. We managed to take lots of adorable photos. He got new fly sheet, new fly mask. He's had that fly mask off pretty much every day since I bought it, and he now has 2, and I get to play a great game pretty much every day during summer called Where's the Mask? Yeah, that game never gets old if you ask River. So here he has 8 acres, which was just to himself to start with until we bought Bee, so I think he was on his own for about a month, but he couldn't care because there was grass and there was so much space, and it was probably the biggest field that he'd ever had completely unlimited access to. Although yes, there was a fence there, he broke the fence within 2 or 3 months and was just running loose. So yeah, he really had a lot of fun in those fields. He had to have his rain on at one point during the summer because the flies were still bad, so he still had his fly mask on, but the rain was getting bad, so he had to have his rug on, which he wasn't always the most impressed with, and he did have to split the field back in half to try and protect the other half during winter. But as soon as Bee arrived, he had a friend again. He was happy as Larry, you know. He was happy as can be, as you can see from some of these delightful gymnastics that he was throwing. Thankfully, wasn't on board when he threw these, and he's not quite so flexible in the saddle. But, you know, what can you do? When I had to head back to uni, my mum kept me updated with lots of pictures, and I came home every half term to see him, although, as you can see, he got quite muddy. Then, the second summer that I came home from uni, as you can see, we took lots of great pictures. We really had so much fun together, although there's not much video footage from that summer. Before I headed back to uni for my final semester, because of COVID, I came home, and as you can see, we got to enjoy all the snow together. I came home in January 2021, and we've just had so much fun together since. I think I've been home for just over a month now, and every day we have cuddles, we have kisses, we take adorable pictures, and we got to play in the snow together, which is honestly something I'm so grateful for. I never thought I'd get to have a snow day with my ponies. And while a lot of my footage recently has been focusing on Boo because we've been working on getting her used to humans and backing her, River's still my main man, and as you can see here, he enjoys his Silvermore Swingers. He's since eaten 2 of them, so he's obviously enjoying them, and yeah, he's always been my main man, he'll always be my best friend. And even if he has to fully retire now, we will always have the best memories together. He may not be the most amazing ridden horse, but he is the biggest personality you will ever meet. When you walk into a field, you know he's there. Usually because he's trying to mug you for treats, but that's irrelevant. He is, yeah, there's no words to describe how much this horse means to me. And every single photo I have of him, I will treasure forever. And I'm hoping that 2021 marks 4 years together, and maybe we'll get another 10, 15, because even if he has to fully retire, he'll always be my best boy and my best friend.